welcome back to Bachelor Buzz, the best place to come for recaps on your favorite show and the latest in Bachelor Nation news. We're your hosts, Arena
and Julia, and we're very happy for you to join us on our recap of the Women Tell All.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
very exciting.
Mhm.
But first, let's talk about how we're getting buzzed. Arena, how are you getting buzzed? We are getting buzzed. Tell
Yes.
us.
So, I am having my with my straw, which I know people are going to be like, "Are you serious?" But I just felt like it, guys. Who am I impressing?
Well,
Anyways,
it's better for your teeth. Do you?
thank you.
I should
Thank
have
you.
one.
I want to keep pearly whites.
Yes.
So I have my forbidden kiss. I have the red wine this time. My trusty, tried and true wine that I get, and it's good. And I also put a little ice in it, guys, because I do work early in the morning. So
Oh.
in my regular job, so I'm trying not to get too tipsy.
Does
Okay.
ice reduce
It
hangovers?
waters it down because it's melting.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so smart. I life hack. Thank you, Arena.
Sure.
That's genius. I'm gonna do
Thank
that.
you.
I am drinking a Chardonnay by the Chloe brand,
Oh.
and this is a really popular brand. It's a cute bottle. It's very like chic. It's white label with like a little black bow, Chloe brand wine. And I was so excited about it because I was like, oh, I mean, I've probably drank it so many times in my life, but today I was like, I'm gonna do my review. To be honest, I'm a little not feeling it. It's a little
Ooh.
too robust. Yeah, it's like really like a very strong flavor, and it's not as light as I usually like my Chardonnays. It is
Mm.
buttery, but it's just a
Mm.
little bit more intense. So I don't know if I will try the Chardonnay again from Chloe, but I do again think it's like a good brand. So I might try like something else from them. So I'll keep them. I'm not completely discounting them. If you listeners have a type of wine that you like from Chloe, let me know. So I'll try that next time.
Yeah, tell us,
Yeah,
guys. Let's get started,
let's
though.
get
This is
started.
okay. Can we just talk about when we were talking about this too?
Mhm.
This Women Tell All episode was the best one that I think I've seen of a tell all
It was
from
so
Bachelor
good.
franchise.
It
So
was
good.
so good. Sometimes
Hmm.
they're kind of boring or just
Yeah.
like stupid drama that
Yeah.
like you've heard about. And one could argue we did hear a lot of the same drama,
Yes,
but
we
we
definitely
think
did.
there was much more like heart involved. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about that.
Hmm.
I agree though. And also for our viewers, it's a woman tell all. It's not really a recap. So we're doing this like what hybrid thing of just like
Yeah.
most important moments.
Hmm.
But we'll still kind of go in order, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
we'll go in
Yeah.
order, but we're not going to get as nitty gritty detailed as we normally do, guys. So, for those who normally listen to us and watch us, thank you so much for always being loyal. It's not that we don't have the details, is that we feel like this episode's a little different. It's not a regular episode. So, we're just going to dive into what was going on with the Women Tell All in the very beginning with the drama. We're going to touch
Mhm.
on it. We're not going to get too deep because let's be honest, I think we're all tired of it. And
It was a lot.
it was a lot.
It was a
So,
lot.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but okay. Well, we start off with, of course, this is typical. The lead is at some watch parties. It was cute.
Yeah.
He went to the Kyo watch party and then
Yeah.
just kind of, felt the fan love. It
Yeah.
was cute. Jesse called him the Justin Bieber of the
I
group.
know.
And, these girls love him. It
Yeah.
was really sweet. And he seemed excited, They
Hmm.
had fun, him and Jesse. They seem like friends.
They
And I love
do.
that.
They
Although
really
Jesse
do.
could probably be friends with everyone. Same
Yeah.
with Joey,
And Joey,
honestly.
that's why they're friends. Like Joey's like his
Yeah.
little brother.
Yeah.
All right. So we saw the watch parties. Can I also just mention that I felt like they showed a lot of shirtless Joey in the very beginning of the
He
episode?
did.
He was playing
Yeah.
ping pong or something. He was in the mirror. And I was like, okay, I know he's attractive, but I don't need to keep seeing this. Like, I'm okay.
They're like, just in case you weren't obsessed with Joey, here's
Here
some
he
shirtless
is.
pics. Just a reminder of why we have 30 women, well,
Yes.
not 30, but like 20 women joining us tonight.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was funny. I agree. That
Hmm.
was kind of like a lot,
It
but
was.
um yeah, so I guess then they open up to the women tell all. There's a
Mm-hmm.
huge crowd. We
Yeah.
sadly were not there, even though we
I know.
applied. And they introduced the girls,
Yeah.
and what was it in order of when they were kicked off, I think? I
I
think
don't.
so. Because Maria was
Uh,
last.
n-
I think
I'm
it
not. No, it
was.
wasn't
This is
because
Maria, Jen. Oh
Jen
no,
and
and then
Kelsey would
Sydney
have been
was a
next to
little
each
closer.
other. Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, Maria was last and she
Hmm.
got what, like 2 minutes straight of
Yeah.
standing ovation applause.
A lot of
People love
fans. A
her.
lot of fans.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. People
Yeah.
came with signs.
Hmm.
Maria, will you have my final rose? You know?
Yes.
So you can just tell that the audience was there for Maria as
Yeah.
much as they were for Joey.
Yes, for
So
sure.
I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, she has a ton of fans, as we can see also on socials, like on
Mhm.
Instagram specifically. Her follower count just like is
It's above
beyond.
Daisy.
Yeah, it's above Daisy's now. So
Yeah.
I think if it was fans voting for who's the next Bachelorette, I feel like they would probably choose Maria. And I mean, we're gonna
Mhm.
get to our predictions for Bachelorette at the end of
Yeah.
this, but yeah, there's a ton of fans for her.
Tons of fans.
But yeah, so we get into the drama of it all.
Mhm.
Jesse is asking questions. Jesse is trying to like rein things back in when they get
Mitigate.
heated.
Oh my
Like
God.
it is they start out with they kind of start out with like Leia. Jesse's like, okay,
Yeah,
so
that
Leia had the
drama.
card. She threw it in the fire.
They're in the
And then
fire.
Leia was like, I did that, standing on my business. I did that to just get rid of it so that it wasn't like a concern that a date could be stolen. And then Maria was straight up like, yeah, it's one thing that you did that, and we weren't upset with you about that. We were upset that you were acting like you were doing something for the women in the house. And a lot of the women reiterated that and echoed the same sentiments that they
Yeah.
felt like, don't sit there and say you're a girl's girl. Like Evelyn said this, you're a girl's girl. And then
Mhm.
someone said, well, like you guys didn't talk about anyone. And Evelyn was like, well, we never said we were girls. That's the difference. Which is true, right? Like
Evelyn.
they didn't say, but it was just, it was a lot for poor Leia. Like I feel
I
like
know.
I think
Leia
Leia's a
took the
good person. I think she's
heat.
a nice
You
individual.
know what? She's like young. We can't forget.
Yes.
She's young. So,
Yeah.
like, when you think of it in that context and all the stuff she's gone through, like, I don't think what she said to Medina was right.
Yeah.
Stay out
Yeah.
of it. Like, I wouldn't have said
Yeah,
that.
better just to speak
But,
out.
like, she's sweet at the same time. Like, really,
Yeah.
like, I can't be, I can't help but just like her a little bit because
Yeah, I
she
like
pokes,
her.
we posted a meme and she just like loved it. And at that point, we didn't see all that drama and it just
Yeah.
it felt like she was very like able to poke fun at herself and
Yeah.
like lighthearted. So, I just hoped the best from her from that moment on because I was like, oh, like she's sweet. But yeah, it was hard to watch like
Yeah.
how they attacked her a little
It
bit.
was really hard because, like you said, with the age difference, with like her and
Mhm.
Jess, they're both on the younger end of that group, I feel like, because a lot
Yeah.
of them, I mean, Maria's 29, I believe Evelyn's 29. We have 31-year-olds, we have a 30-year-old, Lexi's 30. We have a lot of women that are in their late 20s, early 30s, and it's a very different experience and feel between your 23,
Hmm.
24-year-old days and your 29, 30,
Yeah.
31-year-old life. It's very
Crazy.
different. And I think that was part of what maybe those issues came from, was
Yeah.
just a different part of their lives, different stage in their lives, and handling things differently. And obviously the
Yeah.
personalities are all very different. But yeah, so we
Yeah.
we
We hear about
visited,
that.
we went on with Leia. Unfortunately, Leia was attacked, like you said, and during that break, we saw Leia go off, and she was behind the scenes during the break, and Jess was with her, and Leia said something like, it wasn't like that, right? Like, it wasn't. And so it kind of also made me wonder, so then what really happened? Like, so then what are you
Yeah.
speak on it?
There's just so much. So they did finally ask, did Maria tell Leia, shut the fuck up, Leia?
Yes.
Which was my question. I
Mhm.
literally, again, I messaged Leia. I was like, hey, did she really say that? And she said,
Yeah.
watch the woman tell all. And I mean, part of me was like, she must not have said it because I can't imagine that Maria would straight up lie. Like, come on, there's
Yeah, it doesn't seem
cameras.
like it.
You
Yeah.
know, I didn't think
Yeah.
she said it, but I was
Mhm.
also like, why would Sydney lie? You know? And
Yeah.
what we find out
Lauren.
is Lawrence said it. Lauren's like,
Lauren.
yeah, I said it. It
Yeah.
was me. So I don't know if it's the brown hair or what, but like
Maybe they
clearly
heard it
someone got
but didn't
confused.
see it. Like maybe
Yeah,
they thought it was like Maria's voice, but it was
it all
Lauren.
happened so
Yeah.
fast. Who knows? But I just thought
Mhm.
that was hilarious. I'm like, of course, like, whenever you have like a best friend, even if you don't look alike, which they kind of do, Lauren and
Oh,
Maria.
the
But
long dark
but
hair.
it, like
Yeah.
even if you don't look alike,
Both
the
beautiful.
fact that you're always together, like people confuse you. Like my whole life I had a best friend who looked very different from me and I was always called her name and she was called mine. And it's just like it's just funny. And I just
Yeah.
laughed because I was like, man, like I've been there. Best friends. And I mean, I think they were definitely very
They're
close,
definitely
Lauren and
close. Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, wow, it's funny that like the memory did not serve her in that
Hmm.
moment. Like, oh, Sydney, I don't know how she felt.
Oh,
She probably felt a little
really
silly there.
tough. Yeah.
But
I'm glad Lauren
I did
cleared it
think it
up
was.
though.
I'm so glad they cleared it up because that was my
Hmm.
burning question, and I'm glad they, addressed that.
Yeah.
And actually, like that happened, I think, before Leia ran off stage crying, as we mentioned. But I'm glad we know.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
so.
glad we know.
Um,
And can I say I
but
kind of it's kind of sad that Lauren left so early because I think she would have been entertaining on the show because just her vibe and how she's just
yeah,
straight up like that. She's like, it was me. I love that. I think that would have been fun to watch.
I
Like,
agree. I mean, I
yeah.
liked her in the very beginning.
Yeah.
It was, she left on a note that was like an emotional note.
Yeah, it
It was
wasn't
a bad like set of events that led to her leaving. It wasn't really
mhm.
that she didn't have a connection with Joey.
Mm.
It was that she was really sad about like her dad passing and
Yeah,
it made her
she's
get in her
grieving.
head,
Yeah.
and that like that's very unfortunate. And that's the kind of thing that makes me really hope we see her again
Yeah.
on Paradise if they have
Yes.
it this year. If not next year, 'cause
Next
I'm sure
year,
they'll get it together
please.
and bring it back because they
I
can't
hope
just not
so.
bring it back,
I
guys.
hope so.
Bachelor at
What a
Bachelor
shame.
ABC.
What a shame that would be
I
if they
know.
didn't.
We love Paradise.
Yeah. And it's just such a great opportunity for all of these women to see them again because there's so many great personalities
So fun.
in this
Yeah.
group that please don't let this be the last time. I want to
Hmm.
see them again. And yeah, but that was really awesome. I'm glad you brought that up with Lauren. It was funny and it was cleared things up. And it was like, okay, well, then there you go. And then just I feel like, they went on more with the drama. They talked more
Hmm.
about it. Medina spoke about the comment that she made that started all of this. And she was very much like, I was just speaking from my personal experience. It was not intended to start this whole thing. And it was just how she felt. And, I think Sydney at some point she basically was saying that she felt like she was standing up for a friend or something and that she felt like she needed to say something. And then Edwina is like, no, you didn't like Maria from the start.
Yeah.
So don't sit there and say that that's what this was all about because you just didn't
Yeah.
like her and you found something to basically use to for as an
It
excuse
was,
to
yeah, like the catalyst
yes,
of
it was the
her
catalyst.
causing
Yes.
distance between Maria and Joey. And like
Mhm.
that is one thing that I did. I was glad to hear that Sydney was able to recognize that. She was
Yes.
like, I was more focused on making you look bad and like
Mhm.
pointing things at you than
Yeah.
like repairing things. And
Yes.
I was like, okay. I mean,
That's good.
that's like something that like that shows inner work. I'm glad
Mhm.
she could admit
It
that because
does.
really at the end of the day, I think that's all they wanted.
Mhm.
They wanted things to just like let's get over this.
Go,
Why are
yeah,
you
go
still
with.
bringing this
Yeah.
up when Medina doesn't care, Maria
Yes.
doesn't care,
Just
nobody cares, and you're still
yeah.
bringing it up? Like that's where Sydney went wrong. So I'm glad she could
Mhm.
like recognize that.
Yeah.
But in the end, it still didn't feel super resolved.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
it
I
was
think they just
interesting.
decided to like Yeah.
to squash it. And I'm glad that they
Yeah.
did that. And we saw later on, I'll just hop to like Maria in
Yeah.
the hot seat,
Yeah, we
how
can
she was saying
skip
how the
ahead.
hate that Sydney and Leia
Mm.
received crossed the line. And she gave them a hug, each a
No one
hug, and
can
said that she
deny
didn't
that.
want this anymore. And yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
did like
glad
that. I loved
that
that.
Maria said that she recognized that,
Mm.
especially because a lot of her fans, unfortunately, and I don't know if this is true, but she has some diehard fans, and I don't know if
She does.
maybe those were
It's
the
pretty
ones that
incredible how
some.
the following she has.
Yeah,
What with
yeah.
all the drama, you
Yeah,
know?
she's like an
Like,
enigma. She's just like amazing. She
yeah,
served so many different purposes, I feel like, throughout this season that it's very interesting to see. Like, in terms of reality TV, I think she's like a great person to have on the show
I
because she's
know.
exciting. She was almost like a villain character, and I put that in quotes for those who are listening, air
Yeah.
quotes, because oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God.
This is Apple, guys. The balloons just came up in my screen.
Oh my God. I've noticed that a couple times where you do like a thumbs
I
up.
know when it
Mine
goes
doesn't
thumbs
do
up.
that, even though mine is supposed to recognize gestures. Like I do, like I don't know. I know that's a setting on Zoom, but
It
that's
is.
so
I just saw
funny.
that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's weird. I don't
What
know.
were we even talking about? The
Yeah, like
balloons
air
distracted
quotes and
us.
balloons. I don't know.
For all who
But
didn't see the
yeah,
video on YouTube or Patreon,
yes,
Arena said something and then a bunch of balloons popped up.
yeah. Just
Virtual
colorful balloons, like
balloons.
it was a party, a birthday party. So bizarre. I don't know how that matches.
Oh, technology.
Yeah. Well, but
Anyways, what
yeah,
were we even
so
saying, man?
so it was
Okay.
Maria and how she was considered an in quote villain, but she wasn't really. And she got really far too. She had a great connection with Joey. So she was like a lot of things this season. And it it was enjoyable to watch a lot of the times, really, because we're viewers. We didn't know truly what was going on in the house. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting to have her there too and talk
Yeah.
about things. And also, I know that we were talking about this earlier with Jess, just how poor Jess was just trying to speak her mind and say how she felt. And
Yeah.
yeah.
This part, it's like we're always gonna just try and find the good in people, you know?
Hmm.
And like I really didn't like I thought Jess's frustration with Maria was a little out of the blue watching, right? When we watched her like flip out, call her a bitch, all that. It was
Yeah.
a little surprising
Yeah.
when we were watching.
Yeah.
But then Jess had the opportunity to kind of clear it up and she proceeds to say, like, there were a lot of times where I felt like Maria didn't let me finish.
Hmm.
And oh my goodness, Maria did not let her finish. And that just made me feel for Jess because I was like, dang, if you're going to say this happened and we're going to want to know if it did, I mean, the bread is in the pudding. Like it
Yeah.
was right there. Maria did not let her finish. She was
Yeah.
interrupting all this. And it just made me feel for
Mhm.
her. And I was like, oh, like I would get frustrated with that. But in the end, I think that Jess got a lot off her chest
Yeah.
and they also were able to come to a resolution.
Hmm.
Um,
To a point, yeah, I
honestly,
think, yeah.
it just didn't, I don't even know, like how. I didn't even write how. Did you
Well,
get
I
that?
don't know if they
How did
really
they even
did.
come?
I don't know if they really
Yeah.
did because I think that at a certain point, Edwina once again was like, if it wasn't Maria to Jess, if it wasn't Maria,
Hmm.
would you have been like this or something like that?
Yeah.
And Jess was honest. She was like, well, no, I did have animosity towards Maria. She was very
Yeah.
honest about that, which I
You're
really
right.
liked
She
that
said,
Jess said because she was being honest that, yeah, that's part of the reason or that was like part of why maybe she was a little more focused on what Maria was saying or doing more than other people because she had already felt the animosity from Maria. And
yeah.
when it comes down to it, I just think all of these women just have a very different vibe and personality from Maria. And neither groups
Mm.
are bad. They're just different and they clash. That's what it feels like
Yeah.
to me. They just really clash.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think
don't,
that, a lot of the women, they looked at Maria's behavior and they're just kind of like, oh, that's Maria.
yeah.
She's brash. She's bold. And other people like took it personally,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
And I think that's like the big divide here. And I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with either one. Like
Yeah.
again, people have their own perceptions of reality. But I do like, yeah, I guess they didn't really resolve it, but I
Mm.
did feel at least that
Enough.
the vibe was better. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It
In
was
my head, I
enough.
was like, okay, yay, everyone got it off their chest, move
Yeah,
on,
and I
you
think
know? And I
they
think that's what the
focused
women tell
on.
all's goal is. It's just like,
Yeah.
get it off your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on from it so we can all hang out on the beach in Mexico and find our true love.
Gosh. Or maybe, like, I feel like maybe it was just like they squashed it enough. And they
Yeah.
were like, this is as good as it's
And
gonna get. Like, this is fine. No one has to be true tight friends. Like, some
yeah,
are and some aren't. Like life, there's
so
groups, there's
true.
cliques. Some people are gonna
Yeah.
connect more than others. And I also feel like the thing with this episode is that they started focusing on way more important issues in
Yeah.
this
I was
episode
glad
that I
they
feel like
like
helped.
ended it. And
Yes.
then we move on to
Hold
talk
on.
about like deeper things, right? So
Yeah.
then we hear from
Lexi.
Lexi.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jesse pulls Lexi to the hot seat. You know, they review her journey. She's
Mm-hmm.
so happy and thankful for all the support she's gotten for
Yeah.
her endometriosis story. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, again, I haven't experienced that myself, but I know a lot of people who have struggled with fertility in general. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I just know that like someone who is putting themselves out there in this setting
Yeah.
that is like, you know, a show that a lot of women watch, like I'm just sure that she's helped a lot of people come to peace
Yeah.
or feel inspired, you know, to continue searching for love
Yeah.
even if they have these difficulties. So that was really good to see.
Yeah, she definitely mentioned that like she's received so many messages from women, men, couples, just telling her, that they had been going through the IVF cycle, or that just how they related to her. And she was just so appreciative of the support and these personal stories, and that she felt like people didn't feel alone because she said when she originally started going through it, and when she was starting her IVF, like or freezing her eggs, that she felt alone. And
Mhm.
now it doesn't necessarily feel that way because there's so much support. And Jesse was so great, JJ. Jesse
Mhm.
was so great that he was just like, I know that you're going to meet the best person for you and you're just gonna
Yeah,
have such a beautiful life and everything. And that
I
was
really think so.
lovely.
I love
Yeah.
Lexi.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
I
she'll
would
be,
like her as
she's
Bachelorette.
fine. You know what? I
We'll
think
talk
that
about
she is a
her.
contender.
I
I
think so
really do.
too.
I think
I
that
think
she's on their
her, Jen, and
list.
Maria, and then like whoever the runner-up is.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. But I will say, I've said it before, who has received the best edit hands down this entire season? Daisy has.
Daisy.
Daisy
Yep,
has. Because
she
they would not
has.
pump up someone who wins that much. They have no need to. That person's going to go away. They're going to go off with the
Yeah.
lead into the sunset. And we're never going to see them. Well, not never see them again. But you know what I mean? There's no
Yeah.
point to pump them up for the audience because the audience doesn't really need to get to know them. So,
Yep.
yeah, I think they're on the list. I think she's on the list for sure. And she was
Uh-huh.
showcased on the show. She had her
She
moment
was.
on this
Yeah.
Women Tell All.
And I think
So,
that, you know, they
yeah.
will probably, well, I don't know. I mean, I just hope that they choose someone who's a little older. So for that reason, I'm like, yes, Lexi would be good a
Yeah,
choice.
but who knows? They always skew
Maybe.
younger with every lead, but especially
Yeah.
bachelorettes, the women.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll
But yeah,
see.
so we saw Lexi, and that was
Yeah.
wonderful to
That
see
was
her story
nice.
again and everything. And then we went on to Jen, right? Jen was the
Mm-hmm.
next person in the hot seat. We
Yep.
got to see a recap of her story as well and talk about her connection with Joey a little bit. And, Jen, for all those who know, oh, well, let's double back. Lexi left early. She was a
Yes.
contender the entire season, but then they got to Montreal, which was the last place they went to before hometowns. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, it wasn't. Jasper was, sorry. The second to last place before they got to hometowns. and Lexi self-eliminated because her timeline with Joey, she felt like wasn't matched up in terms of what she wanted to do with her life because, she has this infertility issue. She is older than him, not much older really, but like 2 years older than him. And he was very much like, yeah, I think 2 to 3 year engagement, 2 to 3 years of marriage before having kids, which is totally
Yeah.
fine and normal.
For him, but like the fact that she's older, like I don't know. To
It's
me,
different for
it's
a
like
woman, and
it's
with
so
what she has
different.
going on,
I
it's a
would if
totally
like
different
if you're gonna
thing.
be that age and wanting kids, you need a man who's like, I want kids right away too.
Exactly, which is why I think
That's
she needs to be
it.
with an
He
older man.
doesn't.
She needs an
Yeah,
older
like
man. She needs to
that's just
go skew older girl because
girl, you can get an older man.
yes, and they will be ready. They will be
Can.
ready to get married within a year. They will be ready to have a kid within a year. Girl, in 2 years by 32, you be ready
Girl,
to go.
full disclosure, when I met my husband, and guys, you don't know, I could try and keep it a little private, my personal life here on this platform, but my husband and I, we met on Bumble. Who else
Oh,
did? Anyone else? Not Arena,
no.
but that's how we met. And my settings were older, like 3 to 5 years older. So like, I just feel like if that's what you want and you want it, you just have to find someone who's in that right mind state and like
Yeah,
a 28-year-old guy, I would not think is jumping to unfreeze eggs, whatever.
yeah.
Okay, I'm getting deep into it.
That's
But
okay.
I'm just glad that, she's honest with herself and not
Yeah,
letting herself continue,
yeah,
if it's
yeah.
not right. And I really think she's going to find someone amazing for her.
Yes, I think so too. And she's beautiful and she seems like a nice person and kind and everything. So, and Joey definitely had a connection with her. He saw that in her. So we go on, yes, to Jen. And Jen was the one with the second one-on-one date of the season. They went surfing. They had a date in the cemetery, Hollywood Forever. I'm sorry, I always bring that up.
Mhm.
The drone show.
That
And they had a great connection. Like he was
they
very
did.
much
They were
like,
cute.
they were cute. Yes, their
Yeah,
connection was very cute. Definitely, you could see them dating 100%.
fun.
And
Hmm.
he was very, I mean, he was attracted to all the women he brought along, let's be honest. But they had a great connection. She talked about her home life during their one on one, and she was very vulnerable and expressed that. And that was amazing that she did that, especially because that's not something she normally does. She
Yeah,
talked about her father
her
and how
family. Yeah,
her home life growing up with her parents, still living in the same house, but not having a good relationship anymore. So she does not have a good relationship with her dad. So they had her on the stage and she was talking about it. And I got this feeling that when Jesse at the end of it was like, so what's next for you? And Jen was like, well, I don't know, Jesse. And I was like, are you in the
I
running for the
I felt
Bachelorette?
that too, Arena.
Yes.
I
Yes.
felt that. I feel like because I was like, so what's next for you?
Mm-hmm. Wink,
Wink,
wink. Okay, can't do my
wink,
wink.
right? I
Yeah.
100% felt that. I'm so glad you said that because I didn't write it down. But now that I'm talking, I remember I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
she's the
right?
Bachelorette.
I
I was
got there.
so, can I just say, I was so upset they didn't announce any
I
next
know.
leads. I really thought we would at least get the Golden Bachelorette.
Right?
Come
So when
on.
is this
So
happening?
many, well, actually, not a lot of them were there.
No, only
A
four
few. They
golden
barely showed
ladies.
Leslie.
I know.
They showed Susan and
And Kathy, because they have
Kathy.
the new golden hour
I
Bachelor Happy
know,
Hour
but like,
podcast. They had to
where
promote
was
it, right?
Leslie? Where was April? Love her. I feel like she's been part of it and
Abe,
she's
well,
like
she's
not in
working.
it.
She's
Yeah,
she's got
I
a
know.
life.
She's
Not
got
that they
that
don't.
hustle.
She's not retired though. And I think
She has that
some, not
hustle.
all these
Yeah.
women, but some are. And Leslie's a dancer. She teaches dance classes, so her schedule's
Yeah.
probably a little more flexible. I don't know. Leslie's
Yeah.
amazing. I love Leslie. She made a post about Rachel and what happened last night and when Rachel was talking about all the hate she got. And I was like, yes, Leslie.
I
Yes.
know.
I love
I love
you.
that. I mean,
You
honestly,
dated once.
everyone
Sorry, I'm going
from
to say all
Bachelor
this.
Nation should be reaching out to Rachel,
They
like,
should. They aren't,
where
but yeah.
is whatever.
Charity is.
Um,
I love
yes,
Charity.
charity, of
I love
course.
Charity.
She's like an
Charity.
angel on earth. Thank God.
You're great, Charity.
We love her.
But yeah, oh, and Sandra was there, another golden lady.
Oh yeah, she
I love
was
Sandra.
there. Yeah.
Sandra is so real because she is so like so poised and polite and just very much like,
But
well,
also
hello. And wait, what? What'd you say?
but also like a little silly. You know what I
She's,
mean?
yeah,
Like she's
that's what
like a
I love about
fun,
her.
yeah,
That's what
she's a fun
I love. Like,
lady.
she's so poised and everything, but then she has this side of her where she's like, she's spicy. She's like, this is what men like. For
Yep.
physical. Yes, Sandra. So I
Mhm.
wonder who the Golden Bachelorette will be, because it can't be Susan and Kathy at this point because they have a podcast now. They gave them a podcast, so it's
No.
not them. So
I
who
mean,
is
it's
it?
gotta be
It's
Leslie.
gotta be, right?
I
Leslie
mean,
was the
even the
girl.
fact that she was like, we thought it was a little weird that they even had her coming on last week
I
for
know.
the fantasy suite
Yeah, because
to
she'd
give
just
advice
been
because
broken
it's
up with.
so fresh.
Yes.
But maybe they want to keep her in our minds,
I think
And then
so.
again, she's
Yeah.
a working lady. Why, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm glad she was at the Women Tell All, but also
Yeah.
like,
I love seeing her.
why was she there?
Hmm.
Keep us in
Exactly.
thinking about her.
Yes. I
So
think so. So we'll see.
I hope it's her. She deserves it. If
Yes.
not,
I'll take Sandra. I know it's not going to be Sandra, but I
Sandra,
really love her.
April.
April is
But I just
awesome.
don't
Like,
think
she would be fun
so.
too. April would be a lot of
She
fun. I
really may
feel like.
just be like, no, I'm working.
Right.
I got
I
other
know.
shit to do.
Yeah, she does.
Um,
Hey.
but
Yeah.
okay,
So
let's move
Jen, I
on.
think, is
Yeah.
on the list for sure. And
Yes.
I think they should choose her because for me, on the list of possible people, although I think they all would bring a great vibe to the show. It would all be different for like a Lexi. It would be different for a Maria. It would be different for a Jen. It would be different for,
Yeah.
I'm going to say Daisy. Daisy's on my list, okay? I know there's going to be people that are like, we don't know if she wins. You're right. We
Kelsey,
don't.
I don't see
We don't.
Kelsey doing this.
But Kelsey
No.
hasn't gotten the airtime or screen time, not airtime, screen time that Daisy has. So that's the only reason
I
why.
just
And
think,
plus, I just think Kelsey's
yeah.
with Joey. I just do.
Honestly, ugh, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Like
we'll talk
I,
about it
I need to
later.
collect my thoughts.
Yes. So,
So let's move on though. So
yes.
Maria's in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Again, she talks
Hmm.
about her connection with Joey. He's
Yeah.
hot. We had fun.
Yeah.
She felt like her connection really built when they were in Montreal doing the
Hmm.
Pretty Woman date
Hmm.
because and at first it's like, oh, because you went on this great date. But no, it was actually like the first time they could breathe a fresh like a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It was after all the drama was resolved and she could
Yeah.
actually just have fun with him. And I
Yeah.
totally get that. And I was
Yeah.
happy that they had that date too.
Mhm.
And then that's actually when she went to hug them. I wrote that in my notes.
Yes.
And then that's when Sydney actually apologized for not
Yes.
finding resolution.
Hmm.
Maria says she doesn't condone how the viewers treated Sydney, which I
Hmm.
thought was super classy. Thank you
Yeah.
for, again, like just being a girl's girl. Your
Hmm.
favorite term, right, Arena?
I hate that term, guys. This is
We
why
are over
Julia's cracking up. I'm over it.
it.
Let's just retire it and be done.
Let's be done.
You can
But
just
yeah,
be a good person. Okay?
just be a person, just be a girl.
Just be.
Um, but like, yeah, so I did really love that she took a moment because really, again, like Sydney, what happened to her, we've
Yeah,
talked about it before, like,
it's
no,
horrible.
like, come on, viewers. Why are
Death
you being this
threats?
way? That is
Like,
insane.
seriously?
I don't care
It's
how
a
much you
show.
think somebody's being a little crazy on a show. It's not their real life. Like,
Yeah,
this is a show. It's produced. It is, I'm not going to say scripted, but like,
it's
I
produced.
mean,
It's heavily
we
produced.
know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's alcohol flowing. There's
Mm-hmm.
a desire to win.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot going on. So I do think that it was great that Maria could kind of bring us all back to reality in that moment. It's like
Mm-hmm. For
nobody should
Sydney
be
and
doing
Leia.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to Sydney and Leia, you're right. And yeah, I don't was there anything else you wanted to add about Maria's
Not really. I want to
spot?
move
It
on
was
to
just
the
like
next.
fun, just kind of like, how are
Yeah.
you? And then she
Yeah.
joked that her dad's like
Oh, the
there's
hit
a hit
out.
out on Joey.
Yeah. It was like, no.
But then, guys, can we just say we are so glad there was a rose ceremony?
Oh my
They cut to
gosh.
Kelsey and Daisy and Rachel
Well,
in
the note. They
Tulum.
did the note
Yes, the
first.
note. Yes, they cut
Yeah.
to the note.
Oh, let's talk about the note.
Yeah, we got to talk about. So, okay, now we're stepping away from Women's Tell All. We're talking about the note. They do show an entire segment about what's going
Hmm.
on, the update with Joey. So,
Oh
the
my
note. Do you
gosh.
want to talk about it,
Yeah,
Arena?
the
Oh,
note.
I was
Oh
a
my
little pissed off. I'm not gonna lie.
gosh. So Kelsey writes this note, Joey, comma, we need to talk, ellipsis, which is the three dots. And she signs it Kelsey, puts it in his door. He finds it, and this poor man starts spiraling and freaking out
His
because
face,
his
tomato.
insecurities. He was like, oh my gosh, this means she's leaving. Is she leaving on her own? Did something happen? He's freaked out. And meanwhile, Lexi's just like, or not Lexi, sorry. Kelsey's just like, oh my gosh, like, she goes back and she talks to him.
Yeah,
And
she walks in all,
I really
hey, I
think,
just need to be honest with you.
well, no, like when she knocked on the door and he's like, hey, like, he is just like, poor
That was a
Joey.
bad move.
Poor
And
Joey. Yes.
you know, as the producers, like, all
Yes.
right, so let's just say what it was really, Arena. What
I
was it
think it
really?
was
What
the
did she want to tell
producers.
her
I think that
or tell him?
all she wanted to tell him was that she missed him
She
and that
missed
she couldn't
him.
wait to meet his family. And it was all this just lovely stuff that felt kind of like that note could have been written very differently.
XOXO. Hey,
Very.
boo.
Yeah. She
Can we
was like,
talk?
I
I
guess,
miss you. I miss you. Can't wait to find your family. Boom, done.
yeah,
Come on.
done.
The
Period. Let's talk.
producers
Like, they set
chose
her up. No,
violence. They
I'm just
chose
they set
violence.
her up. Um,
I was upset for her because she knew. Honestly, I was scared after
yeah,
we saw that.
yeah,
He was like, "Bye." Like he
yeah.
didn't even want her there. You could
Yeah,
tell he was like,
did they
"All
even
right, well,
kiss?
I'll see you later." Like
Yeah,
he just let her out.
because
She
he
walked
was
home or
just,
whatever, like feeling weird, and I was
yeah.
like, "Whoa!" Like she may have dug herself a grave.
And she felt that. She felt it. And the fact that he was kind of like when they were sitting there on the couch in his room, and he was like, I mean, he didn't say it like, how could you do this? But he was just like, I mean, like, I told you how my biggest insecurity is my feelings not being reciprocated. And I kind of like with my feelings, like, he kind of went in a little bit as to why he was freaked out and why her note sent him.
I think that he was also kind of like, I told you
Why did you
this.
do this? Yeah, that's
Why
why he
would
was
you
telling her
attack?
that.
Honestly, like
That
an
was his
attack
way of
almost.
that was his way of telling her,
Ugh.
why did you do this? You knew how I was going to respond. And she, to her credit, that like she honestly did not realize. She did not. She didn't do that as a game. She didn't do that. I don't believe Kelsey would do something like that on purpose as like a game. She honestly did not do it for that reason, but it was very
Yeah.
much like, please never do this to this man again. Because if you're together now, just don't never ever ever say you need to talk with him unless it is the end. Because
But you know what? Remember our star sign episode, which we
yeah.
just dropped a couple days ago. So if you haven't
Mhm.
listened, go take a listen to it.
Yeah,
It's really interesting and insightful.
it is.
But in that conversation with Natalie, my friend who did the star sign analysis, she said, like, an Aries, which is what Kelsey is,
Mhm.
will act very quickly on emotions.
Mhm.
They will ruminate on emotions. So her doing this, I kind of like laughed because I myself am an Aries. And I was like, did she just pull a Julia? Like, that is some shit that I would have probably done. Like, we need to talk. And then my husband will come and be like, what's wrong? I'll be like, I'm really excited and I missed you. Okay. You didn't kiss me this morning. I don't know, just some silly thing. But at the end of the day, like, I do think her feelings were valid, but like
Mhm.
the way she said them definitely freaked him out. It wasn't worth it. I think the
Yeah.
producers steered her wrong.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
anyways,
But they got through it because we see at the rose ceremony,
mhm.
unfortunately, we do see Rachel go home.
Rachel, we knew
And
it.
we knew it was going to
Sorry.
happen. Regardless, I love Rachel. Like we all know, if you've been listening to our podcast and watching us, she was my favorite the entire season. I just had a feeling that she was going to go far, and I just really love her. But we knew it. We saw it in the way that they were. He never said that he was falling in love with her like he did with Daisy and
Yeah.
Kelsey. So we knew it was
The
coming.
whole
But
slow burn talks.
yeah, but I really loved their talk on the bench, the breakup bench, when he walks her out. Because I mean, really, there's always a bench,
Yeah,
and they sit
that's true.
down, and he was very much like, you gave me everything I needed, and I didn't feel right keeping you here basically if I couldn't get to that point of expressing that I'm falling in love at this point. And she had already done
Yeah.
so and said she was in love with him. And after that, in his ITM, he was like, I want her to be okay. Like, I want her to know I want her to be okay. And I want her in my life because I love the way she makes me feel. And who wouldn't with someone so special like her? He said all these really lovely things. And I do believe that they did have a strong connection. They had a beautiful connection that unfortunately we didn't see very much of because she did not receive a great edit. And I believe that it was a strong
Yeah.
friendship there. They did have physical chemistry too, but I feel as though they definitely could be friends after this and like have that because they laughed together a lot, like they said. They really got
Yeah.
along. They have love for each other as friends. And
Yes.
it's really beautiful. And I love the way he was with her. But I do wish we had seen more of their connection. So as to really
Absolutely.
show this love story and how it evolved, this story between them, that would have been everything. It would have been fair and it would have been right to see
It
it.
would have been right. Yeah. Um, Also, like just speaking on that, they didn't show their love story, but they also didn't show Rachel. Th-
Mm-hmm.
I like I've told you and the viewers that like the point where I was like, wow, love Rachel was that early, I mean, the first group date with the
Mm-hmm.
wedding. Like I
Yeah.
just her personality shined
Yes.
and I just loved her.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't seen much more of that same energy. Like I
Exactly.
almost forgot. I hate to say, it, but I almost forgot that she was witty and fun and like
Mm.
cute with him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they did
Mm-hmm.
have a cute like sexual attraction and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they had that chemistry.
Yeah.
And I almost forgot, but like watching her on the tell-all. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, they show the rose ceremony, but then they cut to her sitting with Jesse. She's there. She's wearing yellow. She's looking pretty. And like just her conversation the whole rest of this episode, she was so funny, so
Mm-hmm.
lighthearted, so positive, and I
Yeah.
just like love that. And at the end, there were bloopers, and she did an impression of Joey,
So funny. I love
like
that.
giving a rose, and he kind of did a little shimmy,
Yeah.
and she just was spot on. They showed other clips of him giving out roses, and she was so
Every
spot on.
time.
And I just like loved that. I was like, wow. And someone
Mm-hmm.
else, I read a meme, which, sorry, I don't know who did it. I need to take screenshots more. It's on my to-do list. But yeah, like somebody said, like, how dare Bachelor Nation or the Bachelor
Deprived us. Yeah.
producers deprive us of her hilarity. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I really
Yes.
like it would have been a more interesting and fun story if we actually saw the
Yes.
story and saw their banter and like their
Yes.
fun moments, their
Because he
cute
said
moments.
she was one of the funny people. Her
He
and
did.
Maria were
She
the
was.
funniest women out of that group to him. And he
Yeah.
loved that because he did want someone with a sense of humor. He mentioned that before the season started. So, yeah, it would have been nice. You're right to mention that as well, to have seen who she was. Because it's unfair. Like, it would have been a good thing to see that. So we do, like you said, we cut to her being in the hot seat on stage with Jesse. And at first, she just kind of goes over her feelings after leaving the show and being in love with Joey and everything. And then Joey comes out. And of course, we know this is how it goes. You bring out the lead with the one of the runner-ups because there's two runner-ups and they have a conversation. And so they talk and it's cute. They're funny. She mentions how she was happy to see him cry, not because it's malicious, but because it showed that he did care about her.
Yeah.
And he was like, you want to see me cry? And that was fun to see because we didn't see a lot of that. So,
Mhm.
really, in that instant, this small little section, we got to see some of what obviously was there the entire time.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was
Yes,
so refreshing and
so
nice to see it
refreshing. It
again.
was
It's like
lovely.
we're not
And then
crazy. We knew there was
right?
something.
Obviously, there was something. Like I said before,
Can't
this
hide
man
it,
would not,
Bachelor.
yeah, and this man would not have brought her as far as he did to top three if there was nothing. Like if she was boring or a snooze, like some
Right.
people said. And it's like, let's use common sense. Obviously, she wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, but
And Joey was not the type of bachelor to keep people on for no
yes,
reason.
not Joey. He is just not that
No.
dude. So we also go through that, and then Jesse is like, so how has this time after the season ended been? And that's when we have Rachel go into a very important part of the episode, which I'm glad they had and included in this Women Tell All episode. She says that in the past few days, it has been a roller coaster of emotions because she has received hundreds in hundreds, and she said in hundreds of hateful comments, racist comments, people calling her the N word,
Messages.
people
Oh,
calling her derogatory slur for Asian people,
yeah.
calling her all sorts of things.
Her
TikTokers
socials were
showing,
disabled.
throwing
Like,
up because she was kissing Joey because people
oh,
didn't want to see it. All of these things, and literally, you could see some of the people in the audience just jaw drop. They were
yeah.
surprised. Joey was surprised. He did an interview later after the Women Tell All saying he was surprised to hear that. He didn't know about it. But all of this stuff, and I'm so glad that she said something because a lot of people didn't realize that unfortunately, this is what happens when you
Mm-hmm.
have people of color or BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color go far in this franchise on like the major flagship show or The Bachelorette when they get into the top, four, three,
Yep.
when they get far. And specifically, I'm going to talk about with people who have brown skin, black skin, like
Yeah.
those who go far, people get these hateful, racist comments. And it's happened with The Bachelorette. It
Yeah.
happened with The Bachelor. It happens par for the course. And I'm glad that they
So
highlighted it
sad.
and she was had a safe space to talk about it and
Mhm.
really like express what was happening so that people who didn't know see how hurtful this is. But I will also say that I didn't love how Jesse, although he said that, he turned to the camera and he said like we're so glad that our Bachelor Nation has such strong opinions or views, whatever it was.
Mhm.
And he said that, but this is not okay and everything. And he did offer the question to the group of women, like how many, and I guess the audience with the golden ladies raise their hand, how many of
Mhm.
you have received hate online? That is important. And I'm not saying it isn't. Obviously,
Yeah.
with like someone like a Sydney, she got a lot of hateful comments and death
Sydney did.
threats.
She's the only one
And
I think who like also
that's
got the same
wrong.
level.
Yeah, I'm not
But
sure. I'm not sure.
what's the big
So
difference here?
100%.
Sydney actually like had poor behavior
It
that
wasn't
people
based
didn't
on what she
like.
is.
It
Yeah.
wasn't based
It
off of
wasn't
her looks or
racist.
ethnicity.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing. And
Yeah. And so
I agree with that.
they cannot be put in the same category. And
No.
like you
It
said,
was
it
almost like,
diminishes.
yeah, it was diminishing a
Yeah.
little bit Rachel's experience.
So
And
I didn't love that.
obviously I don't think Jesse meant it. I think he
Of
was
course
trying
not.
to point out
But
the, commonality and like how terrible it is that like so
mhm.
many of these women have felt that. But I think in that moment, like that should have been a separate conversation,
Yes, it really should have. And I love Jesse. He's my favorite host. I love Jesse. And like you said, I don't think he meant it intentionally to be like to diminish her in any way. That's not
Yeah.
who I believe Jesse is. However, I feel like, and this wouldn't be a shock that the producers wouldn't catch this or say something about this, that you can't put them in the same category.
No.
They're both horrible, but you cannot put racist comments and racist speech, hateful, all that, you can't put it in
Unwarranted.
the
She
same
did nothing to earn
category.
that.
It was yes,
What people were
unwarranted.
upset with was like when she told Maria, like, oh, what was that about?
Yeah, that was
You think
it.
I wouldn't have said that? I'm white.
So
I would
many
have been like,
people,
did you really have to pull him again? What, why?
so many
Like,
people would have said
was
something.
that an emergency? Like, I
Yeah,
would have said something.
yeah,
I didn't blame Rachel one bit. I was like, yes, girl, say it. Say it
yeah,
to her. Like,
yeah. And
it's just so sad
if
that,
anyone
like,
else had said it, like a Daisy, would everyone, or a Kelsey, and this is no knock to those two, I'm just using them as an example, obviously, or if
yeah.
it was flipped and it was Maria saying it to Rachel and
Oh,
Rachel
if
had done
Maria said
that,
it to Rachel,
people
people
would be
would be
like,
praising
yes!
Maria, call her out. Oh my
Yes.
God. And it's
Yeah.
like, why the double standard? And like,
Yeah.
that is
Well,
frustrating.
we know why, but yeah.
And like, it's just frustrating because also it's like these people who are like Bachelor fans or whatever, it's like they seemed totally, and I mean, you're gonna argue with me, but I wasn't following it like as closely, or I guess I didn't like see it as much, but like I didn't have the perception that people were disliking Rachel. They were fine with her until she was top four. But then when she was top 3, then it was a big problem when she beat out the amazing Queen Maria, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
clearly there's something else here. It's
Yeah.
not her,
It was,
it's her status in the show
yeah.
they were not comfortable with.
Yeah. They didn't like it. They didn't understand why this amazing guy like Joey,
Would choose
what
her
who's a white
over
guy, who's
Maria.
desired and by so many would be interested in this woman of color. And that's obvious, and that they were just using that thing with Maria as an excuse to
Hmm.
be hate, to
Yep,
express their hate.
that's what it is. You're
That's
right.
all that was. And the fact that so many people were just like, I don't see it, and I don't get it. And that's okay. You can think that. I'm not saying don't feel as though you're like, if you don't see it, that's fine. And plus, she didn't get a great edit. So, yeah,
Don't be
it
calling
wasn't
bad
really,
names and
yeah.
stuff.
But yeah, don't
The
go down
hate.
that
I mean,
that
it was
road.
heartbreaking. Rachel said, my parents and I had just had a really lovely hometown with
Hmm.
him. They just watched the
Hmm.
episode.
Yeah.
It was so fun for them. And
Yeah.
then the next morning,
Their culture,
we're getting hate
everything, like,
mail. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
that is disgusting.
It
Like,
is.
honestly, if there's anyone who's listening
Who's like
who
that?
has sent something like that,
Stop
you really need to
listening.
look at yourself because I don't think you're a girl's girl.
Well, and if you're a man or
Sorry.
a woman, whatever, whoever
Boy's
you
girl.
identify as,
Girl's boy.
you have to think about it. Why do you feel so adamant that this bothers you? Why would
And
it
like,
bother you
if it
so
does bother
much?
you, don't put it online. Keep that shit to
Keep it to
yourself.
yourself. Talk about it with
Like,
your other friends that are probably
you
like
don't need to
you.
pull something down to literally bring no one up. Do you think
Yes,
anyone benefited from
it's
that
not right.
comment? That again, this is a very
Comments, yeah.
rhetorical you because I believe in my heart that our listeners are not these people.
Yeah, I do
I don't
too.
think so.
I don't think they are.
But in the end, if
Hopefully.
you see it, call it out. If you know
Yeah,
anyone who does,
yeah.
you know, it's
Hey.
just like in the real world, we cannot stand for this anymore.
And we never should
So,
have, but yeah. And Bachelor franchise needs to get better. I don't know when it will, honestly, because like I said, this happens over and over and over
yeah,
again. And it really is so hard. It is such a dichotomy, and
yeah,
I've said this before. It makes it so hard for me to watch this show with such joy, knowing that this is a part of it too,
yeah.
and to be an African American woman who's enjoying it and then sitting there like, but they do this. They allow this. They allow the
They
fan base
do.
and they don't
They're not
help it.
protecting their
They're
fans.
not. They're
I
not
mean, they're
protecting
contestants, I'm
their
sorry.
contestants and leads
Yeah,
enough to a point where this is not okay. And they're not straight up denouncing it. They're just saying hateful speech is wrong and true these things hurt. That's what they say all the time. It's never stop with the racism. It's never
thank
straight
you.
up. Is it ever? Because I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen that released from Bachelor franchise. Is like stop being racist because this is not okay. We're not okay with it, and we will be there for our people that are part of this
Hmm.
Bachelor franchise. They've never
Yeah.
done that. And I'm just going to be honest once again, the edit sucked of Rachel. So they didn't help the
I think
situation.
that's honestly the core because I can't really sit there and be like, oh, they should have put an Instagram post out or they should block people who say bad things. I think what they should do really is just honor the
Yes.
stories of Black or,
And all
people
people,
of color.
BIPOC, everyone.
Show, throw it in our faces how beautiful those love stories can be.
Yes. Yes. We need to see
That's
them
what they need to
just
do
as
to
regularly.
fight this if they
Hmm.
actually do care.
Care.
And unfortunately, how this season has played out, the one person they seem to really care about is the most white girl I've probably ever seen.
And it's sad because it's not even like blaming her for it. It's really just how they have perceived or like shown us these women. And it's just so hard to like this show sometimes and feel like I'm giving it ratings
Mm-hmm.
when I'm like, but you're not.
But we are not liking it.
Ah! Like, how can I? How can I rightfully do that? But, we'll go into, like, we'll have a bonus episode at some point, guys, where we go into this a little bit more. But we definitely
Mhm.
had to bring it up now in this episode because
Absolutely.
Rachel talked about it, and I'm so glad she did. She's amazing. She's been so strong throughout this because this is a whole nother level. It is one thing to experience it
Yes.
in your day-to-day life because let's be honest, if you're BIPOC, you have experienced this. You cannot get
Yeah.
through life without, not really.
Mhm.
And sometimes depends like also where you live and everything. But she has received it, and people in this franchise who are BIPOC have received it on such a level that is indescribable, that it's just beyond. And she's done so well with still being the kind
Yeah.
person she is and still laughing at that women tell all and
Yeah.
just taking in the experience and her family. Like, just thank you, Rachel. I'm just so glad that she said something and had that time on the episode
Yeah.
last night to talk about it because it was so important. And I'm glad that, it was nice that Joey like reposted her video of her talking about it on
Yeah.
his IG and was basically like, there's no
Definitely want to see that
hate.
from Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to see that, Joey, because you're the lead and you're the most popular lead and everyone loves you.
Yeah.
So if you say something,
That
it makes a difference.
definitely should
It
happen.
does.
One last thing about Rachel. I
Mhm.
really loved her post this morning. I reposted
Yeah.
it and like I just really loved the part. She mentioned how, her Asian background, it is kind of a cultural uh like response to kind
Mhm.
of apologize first
Yeah.
and stay out of things.
Hmm.
But she said, you know what? Like, honor your family by
Hmm.
speaking up and defending yourself.
Yeah.
Like, honor your family. And I really love that because I think that's a very empowering statement.
Yes.
And I think it really speaks to people who do come from those cultures that
Mm.
do feel a little more inclined to just like put their head down and keep pushing.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're done with that.
Yeah.
We are all American, people except for Maria and other Canadians who are on the show. But it's like, we're a melting pot. We all
Yeah.
deserve equal rights, equal voices, and
Hmm.
if Bachelor wants to represent,
Hmm.
they need to represent. And I just love that she said, honor your families by speaking up. And
Yes.
I
That
think
was a
that's
great
it. Honor
post.
yourself,
Yeah.
you know.
Love
So it was really
yourself,
good to
honor
see.
yourself. And thank you for bringing that up because, yeah, that was a very good post that she had. Very thoughtful. And she did get a lot of support from people in Bachelor Nation from that. So that was really great to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope we see her again. Like we said, we don't know if there's going to be Bachelor in Paradise, but I mean, I would love her as a bachelorette, but I don't think she's on their list because they gave her a terrible edit. And
Yeah.
I hope we at least see her in Bachelor in Paradise at some point because
Yeah.
I would love to see her. She's so fun and funny. So let's see Rachel. Let's see her again.
Yes.
So that's that with
That's Rachel.
talking with Rachel. But we go on, and Joey's sitting there, and so all the ladies, I feel like there was really no one that said anything really negative about Joey during this Women Tell All. It was
Mhm.
all very like, you have set the bar so high. I have
Yeah.
higher standards now. Like, you are so genuine and kind and great. And it was just like a love fest for Joey, which is nice, but isn't it usually like with the tell all? They are somehow,
Like
especially
there's
with The
someone who's like,
Bachelor.
"Oh, hey, Joey. I've
Yes,
I've been
right?
waiting to talk to you."
But
But
no
like,
one was like
not
that. They were
really.
all like, "You're great, Joey. You're so amazing." And I bet he is, because this is what everyone is saying. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying it should be that, but that was definitely a takeaway that I had
Yeah.
so far from from
So
that.
like, thank you
Like,
for dumping me. I
you're
learned
so great.
so much.
Love you so much. I just want to always know you, and I just
Yeah.
I don't know what's me.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel was like, "We're gonna be friends for life," and in my head, I was like, "What?" I mean, I'm not one to be friends with my exes, but
But is
I'm an
it really like
Aries.
he's
She's
friends
an
with Charity?
Aquarius.
He's
I don't
friends with
know.
Charity
Yeah,
and
but
Dotton.
it's Bachelor Nation. We have to remember these people just
Hey,
like
they're all friends.
interweave their romance
Yes,
and
because
friendship.
they're the
So,
only ones who truly understand what this is like. So it kind of makes sense that they keep in touch and they're friends with each other because their regular friends outside of this will never understand.
right.
This is
Oh,
such a
sorry.
bizarre way to go through life. I'm sorry. Like, it's such a bizarre thing. When it works, it's so
Yeah.
awesome, but it's like, it's just different. It's really
Yeah,
different.
it
So,
is.
yeah. So,
So then
bloopers?
what happens? The bloopers.
The bloopers.
My phone died.
Joey.
I'm
And
like really struggling with my phone, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I need like an external charger. So the bloopers were really funny.
this year, yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned one already where Rachel did an impression of Joey. There
Yeah.
were other girls who did other impressions of other people, and it was
Yeah.
so good. It was like around a campfire, and it just like again, it just made me feel like, wow, these girls have just so much more of a bond than what we
Mhm.
see on
Yeah.
screen. And it
Yeah.
just like, it's cute. I'm so
Yeah.
happy they have each other, you know?
Yeah, and like and Jesse, that whole thing where they dubbed his voice in and it's his mouth
Oh,
on Joey, that was a trip. That
saying
was
Jesse was a great tennis player, better than
yeah.
Joey. Oh, stuff.
That was
That was
so
cute.
yeah.
Yeah. And then just like other things like, oh, there's bees everywhere. The
Yeah.
lights went out, you know,
Joey eating all the
other.
macaroons on
Oh,
the date with
yeah.
Maria, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I liked that a
And she
lot.
was like, I didn't even know that happened.
I know, because he
He's
ate
over
them
here like
all.
eating
He
all of
ate them
them. There was
all.
like 40, a
Yes.
pyramid of
He's
them.
just like, no, 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 no.
Like,
Did they feed
dang.
him
What's
on the
his
show?
workout regimen? I guess tennis. I gotta play tennis more. Shoot.
You're a former
Shoot.
tennis player. Gotta
I
get
know, but I
into
haven't
back
played in
into.
a while.
It's okay. You
I
still got it.
will.
Get
I
back
will
into that.
play.
Maybe we
I
could do like
will.
a TikTok where we're playing tennis. I don't know. I haven't played in a
Yes.
while yet either.
Wait, we gotta do it in costumes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to
You
think
be
about
the
this.
egg, I'll be the sausage. Except we won't be either. We'll
I
be like
know.
vegetables.
Should it be like carrots and like celery or
Hot.
something? I know.
What goes
Go
better together than carrots and celery, guys?
crudité.
Yum. We'll
Crudité.
think about it.
Well, think
We'll
about it,
think about
guys.
it.
Get ready this
Keep
summer.
posted. Yeah.
You're gonna see that content. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we
Anything
see the
else? Yeah.
teaser at the
Sadly, we didn't
end.
see anything about the Golden Bachelorette or the
I know.
Bachelorette
I was hoping we would get
show.
something from this Golden Bachelorette announcement or Bachelorette
Nothing.
announcement. We did not. So they're gonna
Oh
save
well.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe
For
they'll
what? I
do
guess after the final rose, that's when they'll do it.
definitely Bachelorette at the final rose, but now I'm thinking Golden Bachelorette because they said it would come out in the fall. Maybe they'll wait until the end of the Bachelorette. I don't understand that though. That would be too late, right?
Maybe they'll have back-to-back seasons.
Maybe they will. Maybe they just need to have so they've had The Bachelor airing. They're gonna record. They're gonna film The Bachelorette soon because if it's gonna come out at the end of May or June, they're gonna start like this month
Oh my
or
God.
next month, or they already started. And then they're gonna have. They should still have Bachelor in Paradise, and then they need to have Golden Bachelorette and Golden Bachelor, and then they'll have Bachelor shooting at that time in the fall, and then they'll have the new Bachelor next month. They just need to do all the shows because I cannot go without
We are
Bachelor in
in it.
Paradise.
We're committed,
We
guys.
are guys. This is a lot.
More.
This is what
More and better.
we're doing it, and
I
we're
hope the
doing.
producers hear our podcast. Like,
We're
what do you
so
think the chances are? If you guys
yeah.
know a producer, tag them.
Yes. Comment. Comment. So the teaser. We saw the teaser, and we see a little bit more. We see a little bit of, Kelsey and Daisy meeting Joey's family. We see him on his last dates with each of them. And we see, that final scene that we've seen since the beginning of the season where he is standing there and he is tearing up and he looks distressed. And there's, the white SUV leaving. And then he gets in the SUV and he leaves and they show a rose. I do not think that Joey is alone. He is 100% with someone. It's just who
Yeah.
is it?
I think that the first conversation is always the person he rejects, right?
Oh, the
I
when they
think
meet the
if,
family?
yeah, well, no, like the rose ceremony, like the
Oh
first
yeah.
rose ceremony,
Yeah, it's always
rose or
that.
whatever, the first person is always the one who
Yes.
doesn't get the rose.
Yes. Yes.
There needs to be some time of decompression.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that's what they're showing us. They're showing
Yeah.
him reeling and
Yeah.
trying to bounce back before
Mhm.
he proposes.
Yeah.
That's my prediction at this point. Like that's what all that is, I think.
I think
So
that is the mainly in general what it is. And then I also just think, though, there's got to be something that is different because he
Yeah.
has said this and they've said this. And he literally was like, this is what people have told me that it's never happened. So I think there is something. I just don't think it's as much of a big deal as they're making it seem to be. I think there must be something, but it's just not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's going
I
to be
hope we're not
different.
let down, but
I mean,
we'll see.
we'll
I mean,
see.
it'll be good no matter what because I
Yeah,
think he has two really great girls.
I think he
He
does.
really can't go
He's
wrong.
in
He
love with
has a
both.
connection with both of them.
He's in
They
love with
both
both
are
of them.
good people. Like at the end, whoever he picks, I
Hmm.
do think he will be committed. I can't really see
Yeah.
him being like, oh, I picked the wrong person. Let me go to the
No,
other
not him.
person. I
Yeah.
can't see that.
Yeah.
And that is truly the worst thing that could happen on
Mhm.
this show. So
It's
I'm really hoping it
happened.
doesn't. It
Yeah.
happened too
It's
much.
happened. Yeah.
Um, but
But,
yeah,
you
so
know, hey,
that's
if it happens, it happens. But yeah, I don't think he's the type, like, when he commits to it, like he's very intentional, then that's going to be the person. And like you were saying, like he's going to hang in with that person. He is going to make it work. He's going to do everything he can because from what we can see, that is who Joey is. That's who Joey
yeah.
Grossaday is. So this is what we're going to see. And yeah, he can't go wrong with either of the last two women. He's in love with both of them. And they were the connections that really stuck out and kept going throughout the entire season. So, whoever he's
Yeah.
with, it's amazing. And now I just really want to real quick do the Bachelorette
Yeah.
predictions. Who we
Yeah.
think? Do we?
I think it's Maria. I really do. Even if
Yeah,
Daisy is the runner-up, I
yeah,
think that America has spoken.
yeah,
The producers may have thought, "Oh, we're gonna put Daisy in this great light. She's
yeah,
probably gonna be the Bachelorette." But
yeah.
I think that America is so taken by Maria
Mm-hmm.
that if they don't do it, they're potentially losing out on a lot of fucking viewers. Sorry,
Yeah,
a lot of viewership. I think that it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how can we not expand on this? And I mean,
yeah.
Daisy does have the same following, although it
Mm-hmm.
is a little less now than
Yeah,
Maria.
yeah,
But Maria's just keeps like growing,
yeah. She does.
And I think that if she has more time and like I just think that she's kind of like a more daring, risky choice, but I think the payoff
Yeah,
could be really high for her. I think that there could be a lot of drama, a
yeah,
lot of fun
yeah,
activities and fun moments. So I
yeah.
just think that like as far as an entertainment aspect,
Mm-hmm.
if they are if their goal is to entertain, I think Maria is the choice. What do you
Yeah.
think?
No, I definitely think you bring up some really great points. And I really look forward to actually seeing after the final rose, even before they announce anything, because you know that whoever they choose as the Bachelorette is going to be glammed up. And it'll be interesting to see if Maria is, because we know Daisy will regardless, because she's in the top two.
Yeah.
So, regardless of
It's a good
whatever
point.
happens, she's going to be glammed up. And
That's
if
what
we
we'll
see
be
Maria
looking
there,
for.
what?
Mhm. That's what we'll be looking for. It's a
Yeah,
good
like,
thing to
and
think
who's
about.
there? Are we going to see Jen there? Are we going to see Lexi there? Like, who are we going to see in that audience? And who are they going to focus on? And who's going to look like they definitely had a professional stylist and hairstylist,
Mhm.
makeup, and all of that stuff for this? But I will say, like, who I want and who I think it is. I want it to be Jen because I think Jen is great. And I think it would be wonderful to have her, especially being
Mhm.
Asian, to have an Asian bachelorette, the first Asian lead.
Yeah.
Then again, I feel like Maria and Daisy are at the top of the list for them
Yeah.
and that they're going to go one way or the other. Like you said, if they go one way, a lot of fans will be into it. It'll be exciting and all of that. But then on the other hand, if Daisy is the runner up, and we don't even know, that's the thing with Daisy, like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we
This
don't
could be a
know.
moot point. But if it's a Daisy, then it will be more of the traditional bachelorette. It will be safe and it will still be interesting because she has the cochlear implant, she has a disability, and that is
Yes.
important
She is
too.
in a
So,
minority.
yeah, and to bring
And we will
awareness
learn
to
more,
that,
like that's beautiful. Like truly
yeah,
that would be great.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think you're right too though. Like Jen, it's like if they listen to what people like
Mhm.
us have been telling them, find
Mhm.
the stories of
Yeah.
diversity,
Yeah.
expand on those love stories,
Yeah.
like open your eyes, that
Yeah.
would be a great move for them too.
Mhm.
I think at this point, though, it's just like they can't go wrong between Jen or Maria. I do think
Mhm.
Daisy would be fun. Like hers would be kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
I think they would still have the fan base they're hoping
Oh
for.
yeah.
Personally, I would be more excited about Jen or Maria.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how you feel too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I really want Jen and Maria would be exciting, and Daisy would be great too. It would just be a different vibe. They're all very different, so it would
they
just be a
are.
different type of season. Oh, you know what they could do? What if they try to do another, like, not double at the same time, but the
Oh
same
God, no.
year
Please
they do
no.
back to back, like they did with, what was it, Katie Thurston and Michelle Young?
Yeah, they could.
Would that be worth it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll
I mean, it's a
see.
lot of female leads though at that point because we have the
Yeah,
Golden Bachelorette
yeah.
and the Bachelorette coming
That's
up. Like,
true. That's a
I
lot.
think that might be a lot.
That is a lot.
And we like the males stories too. It's fun
Yeah.
to watch Joey.
Yeah. Well, Joey's
And
the
it'd be a
best
lot less.
bachelor.
Yeah, I really agree with you that he is at this point.
It's Joey.
So,
No one will compare, and I think it might feel a little deflating. We'll see though. Maybe we'll get another great guy. We don't know.
yeah,
Coming from the Bachelorette season, the
I
next
hope
one. Depends who the
so.
Bachelorette is.
Yeah.
That also determines who that so really matters. Changing the course of this franchise. But yeah, so I think that's it. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
In the end, it was a very fun women tell all. I think that it was nice to see a lot of the turmoil was squashed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
not completely, but at least enough to be like, all right, everyone's kind of on good terms.
Yeah.
And I think it was good that Rachel got to
Mm-hmm.
speak her truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good to see that she was doing well. I have to say, she seemed confident. She seemed
Yes.
secure and like
Yeah.
okay with having broken up with Joey.
Yeah. As she
So
should be. He's
that was good.
great, but she's gonna find her a great person that's meant for her. So
Definitely.
yeah.
And good
All
luck to all
right.
the ladies. If you guys are
Yes.
listening, it's been such a joy watching your
Yes.
stories. Thank you
Yes.
for, like all the likes and shares that you've done. It helps
Yeah.
us feel more connected to you guys. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just really great to get to know you guys.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies, and really
Good luck.
applaud to you guys because
Yes.
really you guys put yourselves out there and went on this show
Oh,
to be
can't
exposed
imagine.
to a whole lot. And you provided something for us all to watch and enjoy all of these stories, and we appreciate you. So thank you guys. To
Yes,
reiterate
yes.
what
And
Julia
well
said,
done.
thank you.
And good luck in finding love,
Yes.
whether it be on Bachelor Nation or not.
Yeah. You may meet someone
I
like Brayden and Christina did. They weren't even on the same show
I
ever.
found my husband on Bumble. Like,
There you go. I met my husband at
although I feel
work,
like
which I really don't usually promote. But anyways, I did.
we need to have a story on that. We should do that. Bonus content. But anyways, yes, it's been really fun and good luck on your next endeavors, ladies.
Yes. So thank you guys, and we will see you next time for After the Final Rose. Get excited, it's coming.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, bye
Hope you
guys.
guys are getting your buzz on next time. Or if not, that's fine too. We are always down for a mocktail.
Yes.
But yeah, see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.